Artificial intelligence, we talk about it all the time on this show. It's an emerging trend, and you likely have something in your house that incorporates it. It's spreading now beyond Amazon's Alexa, answering your questions, or a device that turns your lights on and off can arm a security system within your house.
Well, yesterday, a panel of experts from some of the leading companies using artificial intelligence in various industries came together to discuss the future of this industry and how it's changing everything from medical treatments to wildlife preservation. We have Sarah Jones from the Women Tech Council here with us to tell us more about where AI is headed and how it is going to affect our lives. It sounds like it's going to take over at this point.
It is so exciting, the future of artificial intelligence. Thank you for having me here. So as you know, Women Tech Council is always following the trends of technology and where are we headed. There's some really interesting things happening. So when we think about artificial intelligence, we often think about robots or something like Alexa and that voice command, but it's actually going to develop further into medical diagnostics, home automation, cells, and even wildlife preservation. So we have some interesting things that we want to talk about and where it's going. So artificial intelligence is all about how do you teach a computer decision making, right? In a way that it's thinking like a human or even better than a human. It's a really challenging technology issue.
Right, because you lose that personal touch with it and that's part of it.
Yes.
When it comes to diagnosing, when it comes to all of that kind of stuff.
But it's exciting about how it's going to impact our lives in a meaningful way. And there's a few things that we talked about yesterday that are really exciting. So, for example, home automation, right? Yeah. Energy consumption, our living routines, our bedtime routines, and even where we vacation are going to be impacted. We had Vivint Smart Homes talk about that. Another area that's really interesting is our medical diagnostics. So recursion therapy is doing a really interesting technology around how do you take facial technology recognition and apply it to diseased cells, right? So it can actually detect disease cells.
So it can read the cell.
It can read the cell like it would, your face, and also whether or not the cell is responding to drug therapy.
Wow.
And it can make decisions based on that. So the way that we're going to get our medical treatments and our medical diagnostics are going to change drastically. So that's a super exciting space to be in. You're going to see a lot of things. Obviously, there's a lot of regulation involved in that conversation, right? To make sure there's a lot of trust that's built up with the type of decisions that are made by these computers.
And how do you prevent it from taking over our thoughts and what we want to do, right? I mean, I know that sounds kind of like, I guess, get off my yard, old guy talking. But I mean, I worry about like all of this stuff, and then one day at some point, the balance of power shifts and we don't have control over anything anymore.
Well, one question I have is when it comes to environmental issues and animals, wildlife. You said there was a topic there that you guys discussed as well.
There is, and it's super interesting, the applications of artificial intelligence. One of the examples that you brought up, Shara, is that it can actually help us save wildlife. So there's actually technology developed by Neurala that can detect elephants, rhinos, humans, guns, trucks, right? And it can actually relay that information back to the park to let them know if a human with a gun is approaching endangered species. So it's a super interesting application of artificial intelligence. That companies also actually doing interesting things with cell phone towers, right? These drones will go up also with the wildlife, but also with our cell phone towers. It will fly up in the air, look at the cell phone tower, look at what's happening on the cell phone tower with the antenna, and detect what state of repair is needed for those, right? So a human doesn't have to go up there anymore and to be able to make that decision.
And then soon a little robot's going to run up that tower and replace it.
Exactly, right.
Cars as well, self-driving cars.
Exactly. The same type of technology is being used to see the motion of humans, the motion of automobiles that are moving all around us, and detect that and send that information back to the car, right, to increase our safety and be able to make driving decisions in real time.
And the thing this is going to do is it's going to create jobs in the process as more people get involved in technology. Sarah, where can people go to find more about the Women Tech Council?
So we are always keeping up to date on artificial intelligence, regulation, data privacy. All of those things are going to be so important, right? So you can go to womentechcouncil.org to help us follow those trends.
All right.
There's some great programs as well to check out on there.
Thank
Sarah,
you.
thanks for being here this afternoon. Appreciate it.
All right, coming up next.